We're going to solve some compound inequalities. We have various different types here. We have a few that have the or. We have a couple that have the and. Basically, if you have an or statement, you really already have two separate inequalities kind of staring at in the face. And if you're watching this video, you already know how to solve an inequality and you're really strong and know all of the rules and the steps. So if you were to solve this inequality, we're going to first subtract 10 from both sides. I'm going to just show it above. If I subtracted 10, these would cancel. This would give me 12. So I really end up with negative 6p is greater than 12. And if I divide by negative 6, p, negative 2, and then the sign flips because I divided by the negative. So that's the first piece. The next one, I would subtract 1, giving me 6p is greater than or equal to 12. Divide by a positive 6. And I get p is greater than or equal to 2. The entire time, the or stays with the inequalities. So I have two separate pieces to the puzzle, and I'm going to use the graph to show those solutions. I have p is less than negative 2, so that's an open circle at 2, and an arrow pointing to negative infinity. And p is greater than negative 2, which would be another circle. This time it's closed, and an arrow pointed towards positive infinity, and that would be the end. So the difference being is you're basically just solving more inequalities, and there are a couple of different scenarios that you have to watch out for. For example, number 5 down here. So if we looked at number 5, the first thing that we would do is we would subtract 9 from both sides here, resulting in negative 8r is greater than negative 16. Divide by negative 8, and r is less than 2. And we have to do the other part of it. We're going to add 7. We're going to add 7. That gives us negative 3r is less than 30. Divide by negative 3. R is greater than negative 10. So we have this statement. So greater than negative 10, and I'm reading it backwards for the logic perspective. I always start with the lower number because I'm going to rewrite it. Negative 10 is less than, if I flip this whole inequality around, the sign flips as well. So negative 10 is less than r, and I could write this as a compound expression, inequality, and put the 2 there. So this is a much more concise way to write it. And then when I go ahead and graph it, this is much easier to understand. I'm going to put r in between negative 10 and 2. There's an open circle at each of those numbers, and I just connect them. Those are the two most common scenarios. Once in a while, you'll have a situation they have to think about a little bit more, and it might not make sense. So this one makes perfect sense. For example, r equals negative 5 would be a true statement, therefore a solution. So it makes sense on these to go back and say, okay, what kind of answers make sense? And in this case, this one works out. Occasionally, you'll choose a number and it doesn't work out, and you got to just check your solution.